Hello! It's time for another virtual field trip. Today, we're going to be canoeing on Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake is located just 15 miles north of Anchorage. So, Mirror Lake is still part of the Anchorage municipality. You start heading towards Palmer and Wasilla, and you go past Eagle River, and you come upon an exit that's Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake is located across the highway from Mirror Lake Middle School. From these Google Map photos, you can see the lake frozen in early spring. Once you get to the picnic area or the boat launch, you're going to find signs like this: "Kids don't float." Around the sign, you're going to be able to find a bunch of life jackets. Usually, you should be able to find one your size. It's really important to wear a life jacket, even if you are a swimmer, when you're around water. Many things can happen. And did you know that everyone under the age of 13 is required to wear a U.S. Coastal approved life vest on any kind of boat? During our virtual field trip, you are going to paddle, just like this young man is. But since we don't have an actual boat, you're going to be on the floor, either doing level 1 or level 2. In level 1, your feet are flat on the ground, your knees are bent, and you're leaning back as much as you can, so you're working on your abdominal muscles, as well as going from side to side. If you want to add some difficulty to this level, touch the floor on each side of you as you twist. If you're a level 2 paddler, you're going to have your feet off the ground as you twist. Once again, if you want to add even more difficulty, try to touch the ground on each side as you twist. So let's drop to the floor, find a comfortable position away from everybody. Now try level 1. Can you do level 1? If so, maybe you should try level 2. Give level 2 a try now. In our canoe trip, you'll be paddling for roughly about 30 seconds in each of these positions before we transition. You may switch during the activity. Sometimes you may get tired of level 2 and need to go back to level 1, and that's okay. The key is to keep moving until you're asked to rest or switch to a different exercise. We're going to stop in a second and talk about our targets. Alright, now we're going to talk about today's targets. Targets are what you're going to see in the video as we're canoeing. If you see them, there's going to be an exercise associated with them. Here's what the 1-minute timer looks like. It'll help you know how much time is left to do that exercise. And now the targets. You see a submerged tree, you're going to do alternate Superman. He's lifting one arm and the opposite leg up and holding it for about 5 seconds. If you want to make it harder, do both arms and legs at the same time. You see another canoe or boat, you're going to do a half burpee. If you see a fish, you're going to do jumping jacks. If you see a bird, you're going to do toe touches. And if you see an airplane in the sky or on the lake, you're going to do squats. Alright, it's time to get down in your paddling position. Are you a level 1 or a level 2? Pick one of them. You can switch at any time. But here we go. Get ready. Alright, it's time to launch our canoe. We have our life vest on and our paddle. We're getting ready to paddle. Get ready. Alright. Nice and easy, from side to side. Get a couple strokes in, and then go to the other side. For you, you might be going from side to side each time. But when you actually canoe, you put in a few strokes on one side, and then you put a few strokes in on the other side. Keep going. Let's get that heart rate up. one side to the other side. Are you a level 1 or level 2? Keep going. Keep an eye out. We might see a target coming up. Yep, there's something around the corner. Oh, there it is. It's a float plane. All right, jump up. Start doing squats. Doing those squats, we're going to learn how to fit a life vest.
Life jacket to wear. The first step is to make sure the life jacket is the right size. Select a life jacket for the activity you are going to be doing. Properly fasten the life jacket and tighten the adjustment straps. One way to test the fit is to pull up on the shoulder straps. If they go way up above your ears, it's too big. This life jacket might not keep your airway clear if you fall into cold water. You may need to ask someone to help you tighten it. There, that's better. If it still goes above your ears, you may need to find a smaller size. Every life jacket has a label. The label will tell you what size of person is meant to wear the life jacket. If the life jacket is U.S. Coast Guard approved, remember that's part of the life jacket law, and what kind of activities it's meant to be used for. Remember.
All right, great job. You've finished your squats now. Get back into that rowing position so we can start rowing again. Wow, what a great day to be paddling on Mirror Lake. Find a good rhythm. Not too fast, not too slow. I know it's probably starting to burn a little bit, but keep pushing through it. We're going to have a rest here in a minute. Okay, keep it up just for about a couple more seconds. Now we're going to rest. Take a second. Rest. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. And while you're practicing your breathing, we're going to look at what the proper way to paddle is. We paddle in a canoe, not row. This young man is holding the canoe paddle totally wrong. He needs to switch his hands and have one hand on top and one hand in the middle. Now he's using proper technique. He has his one hand on top and one hand in the middle. He's keeping his hands apart, and he's going to switch his hands as he switches to the other side to paddle. As he begins a stroke, he leans forward and he uses his whole upper body in the paddling. Okay, it's time to finish up this rest break. Get ready to paddle again. Decide if you're going to be a level 1 or a level 2. Okay, begin paddling. Nice, easy pace. Not too fast, not too slow. Okay, now we're going to paddle faster. See if you can go at a little faster speed. Pick up the pace. Paddle faster. Paddle, paddle, paddle. There's something in the sky. It's not a bird. You're right. It's an airplane. Get ready to do some squats and learn about the respiratory system.
Requires a trigger to start functioning. Here, the components are the structures and tissues making up the lungs, as well as the various other respiratory organs connected to them. And to get this machine moving, we need the autonomic nervous system, our brain's unconscious control center for the vital functions. As the body prepares to take in oxygen-rich air, this system sends a signal to the muscles around your lungs, flattening the diaphragm and contracting the intercostal muscles between your ribs to create more space for the lungs to expand. Air then whooshes into your nose and mouth, through your trachea and into the bronchi that split at the trachea's base, with one entering each lung. Like tree branches, these small tubes divide into thousands of tinier passages, called bronchioles. It's tempting to think of the lungs as huge balloons.
Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. there's something in the water over there. What could it be? A duck? A bird? It's a loon. That means we have to do you remember? That's right, toe touches.
Thousands of tinier passages, called bronchioles. It's tempting to think of the lungs as huge balloons, but instead of being hollow, they're actually spongy inside, with the bronchioles running throughout the parenchyma tissue. At the end of each bronchiole is a little air sac called an alveolus, wrapped in capillaries full of red blood cells containing special proteins called hemoglobin. The air you've breathed in fills these sacs, causing the lungs to inflate. Here is where the vital exchange occurs. At this point, the capillaries are packed with carbon dioxide, and the air sacs are full of oxygen. But due to the basic process of diffusion, the molecules of each gas want to move to a place where there is a lower concentration of their kind. So as oxygen crosses over to the capillaries, the hemoglobin grabs it up, while the carbon dioxide is unloaded into the lungs. The oxygen-rich hemoglobin is then transported throughout the body via the bloodstream.
Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. Oh, there was a splash over on the side of the boat there. What was it? You're right, it was a fish jumping out of the water. Do you remember what a fish is? That's jumping jacks. Let's go.
Lower concentration of their kind. So as oxygen crosses over to the capillaries, the hemoglobin grabs it up, while the carbon dioxide is unloaded into the lungs. The oxygen-rich hemoglobin is then transported throughout the body via the bloodstream. But what do our lungs do with all that carbon dioxide? Exhale it, of course. The autonomic nervous system kicks in again, causing the diaphragm to ball up and the intercostal muscles to relax, making the chest cavity smaller and forcing the lungs to compress. The carbon dioxide-rich air is expelled, and the cycle begins again. So that's how these spongy organs keep our bodies efficiently supplied with air. Lungs inhale and exhale between 15 and 25 times a minute, which amounts to an incredible 10,000 liters of air each day. That's a lot of work, but don't sweat it. Your lungs and your autonomic nervous system have got it covered.
Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. Oh, there's a different loon. Time to get up. Do you remember what loons were? That's right, toe touches. Let's start. Have you ever wondered how fish survive in the winter?
Side falls below the freezing point of water, only the top layers of the lakes or rivers typically freeze. Under the frozen layer, the water remains in its liquid state and oxygen is trapped below the ice. This gives fish the environment to survive, but the cold waters and other conditions, like less access to food, cause life below the ice to slow down. Certain species, like cod and flatfish, have a reduced metabolic rate in these times and produce molecules in their bodily fluids that lower their freezing point, so they don't freeze. Just like how you prepare for the winter by stocking up on warmer clothes and pumpkin spice lattes, plants also take steps to prepare for the coming cold. You know when you see the leaves changing color in autumn and it's so beautiful and then they fall off? That's actually part of a process known as abscission, where most deciduous trees shed their leaves after their colors change from a loss of chlorophyll, the chemical that's involved in photosynthesis. With the lack of water and sunlight in the winter months, there is less photosynthesis and eventually less chlorophyll, allowing the leaves' other colors to appear.
Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. just saw something jump out of the water. What do you think it was? Was it another fish? Yikes, that's not what it was. It was just a fish. Time for some jumping jacks. Up, everybody up.
Aside, plants have a stress memory in that they have the ability to respond more efficiently to a stressor like cold the second time that it's introduced. Many different environmental stressors have been shown to alter the chromatin and epigenetic marks of plants, providing evidence within their chromosomes that they do indeed have memories of stress. This is not downright proof that it must be true, but it does strongly support the theory of plants' stress memory. So once plants are all set up for winter, how do they survive? Well, there is one big thing that the salads of the world have to worry about more than forks. They need to protect their cells from damaging ice crystals, especially ones that would form inside the cells themselves. Many plants guard against this by using a defense dehydration mechanism. The plants move water out of the cells and into the area between the cells. Intracellular ice formation is generally considered lethal for plants, but ice outside the cell gives it the potential to survive. Some trees
Wow, that's cool. Did you already know any of this? Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. This looks like a good place to stop and rest. Let's all take a rest here. 1 minute. Focus on your breathing.
To begin our journey, let's take a trip to one of your earthly landfills. Plastic can take up to 1,000 years to break down, and it also has the potential to leak harmful pollutants into the soil. The chemical components of plastic can be absorbed by humans and may lead to negative health effects. Not only that, but plastic production uses up a large amount of our fossil fuels. A report based off of 2008 data found that the amount of chemical energy contained in the millions of tons of plastic in US landfills was equal to about 37 million tons of coal or 139 million barrels of oil. And that was 9 years ago. So plastic is bad for the turf. But what about the surf? If you take a look at the waters of the world,
Definitely want to clean up that trash. Make sure you always bring a bag to put your trash in when you're canoeing. Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. Oh, there's another canoe. Do you remember what we have to do if we see another canoe? That's right, half burpees. Let's go.
if you take a look at the waters of the world, you'll find that plastic pollution can really wreak havoc on the oceanic ecosystem. Nobody knows this more than our sea turtle friends, where the majority of their population will be injured or killed by plastics in their lifetime. Not only that, but plastic is often found blocking their breathing passages and stomachs, along with doing the same to countless other marine species such as dolphins and whales. Plastic can also break down in the ocean into small particles the size of plankton. These little pieces collect toxins like DDT and PCBs at levels up to 1,000,000 times the levels found in seawater. These toxins then enter the food chain when any aquatic life accidentally ingests the plastic. It might even make its way to you the next time you go to a seafood buffet. Trash and plastic.
Great job. Keep it up. We're almost done. I know burpees are hard, but keep it up. Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. heading back to shore, and anytime you get close to the shore, you really have to be looking for stuff under the water. And there it is. We just saw a submerged tree under the water. Do you remember what we have to do if we see a submerged tree? It's alternating Superman. Let's go.
Trash and plastic in the ocean goes further down the rabbit hole of doom by threatening biodiversity. Plastic debris can serve as floating transportations to foreign and alien species, allowing them to hitchhike to new and unfamiliar parts of the world. This is common with barnacles and algae. These new species can become detrimental to the local ecosystem. I don't know about you, but The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Ocean sounds like a pretty trashy prequel to me. So what can you do to help? While it will certainly take a global effort to counter the negative effects of plastic waste, you can still be a part of the change. You can start by picking greener options when you get the chance, like bringing your own reusable bags to the grocery store. Many different types of plastic are also now recyclable, so make sure you recycle when you can and not throw them in the trash or let them litter your beautiful planet. Your friendly neighborhood Blocko is on the job, but you gotta do this in
Great job. All right, back to canoe paddling. Start paddling. All right, we're heading to shore. We're almost there. Keep going. Finish up those last few paddles. We're almost done. And we've landed. Great job. Let's take a second to cool down. Pick one of these stretches and let's do it for 10 seconds. Hold it there. Focus. Try not to move. Great job. Now pick another one. If you're doing the side leans, lean one way for 10 seconds and lean the other way for 10 seconds. But let's stretch it out. Remember to focus on your breathing. All right. Slowly relax and pick one more stretch for 10 more seconds. Hold it there. Focus on breathing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job.